Shana Tova, everybody, and Happy New Year. So, double dose of 10-minute Torah this week. As, we've got Shabbat on Saturday, the 28th of September, and we've got the first day of Rosh Hashannah on September 30th, Monday. So, this is going to be for the first day of Rosh Hashannah. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my feelings about the 2 days of Rosh Hashannah. Way back when, why did we light 2 candles for Shabbat? Okay, now think about it. It's going back 3,000 years. And people say, well, the light of Shabbat, and, because the glow is kind of like, an energy, kind of like because God is immaterial and so on. All right, we can talk about that. But the real reason is so that you can see, because you don't light a flame on Shabbat. So you had candles so you can see your way around. That's why. It's a very practical reason. So time went on. We developed some technology, and people use technology now to turn lights on and off. Why don't we turn lights on during Shabbat? Because people say, the rabbi said, that when you flip a switch, the electricity goes in. That's like sparking a flame. Same thing, okay? So as the Jews went out into the diaspora, as we were dispersed into exile, they added an extra day of Rosh Hashannah. Now, what does the Torah say? It says, on the first day of the 7th month, yes, this is the 7th month, 7 days of Shabbat, 7 weeks is Shavuot, 7th month, spiritual month, the new year, when we change the year. It's a spiritual year. And in the Torah, it says this will be a day of Teruah, of blowing the shofar, and it will be a solemn day for you. That's all it says. 1 day, blowing the shofar. And as time went on, as we got dispersed, tradition became this and that, and the rabbis looked into the Torah and they added a few things, and finally they said, we need to add an extra day to Rosh Hashannah. Why? Because back then it was all by messenger. And what if you didn't get the message in time? Then you've missed it, so we need to make it longer so that people don't miss it. That's really kind of the big reason. Okay, so if you're in Israel, you're right there. You get the message right away. You only need 1 day. If you're outside of Israel, then you need time for the message to come. Okay, so getting back to this idea of technology. Now, people turn lights off and on. They got a little machine. It turns it off and on. Now, for me, I'm thinking, well, but you're still doing it. You've turned it on vicariously in another time. Now, we can debate that. Some people say, no, but you're not really doing it. Some people say, well, there's this Shabbos guy, somebody who's not Jewish, who can go in and do it for us. Yeah, but all right, let's look at the Torah. The Torah says you get off, your slave gets off, your manservant, your maidservant, your animals, okay? So I guess you could rationalize having a Shabbos, somebody who is not Jewish doing this stuff, if you give them their day off. Okay, fair enough. Now, what about the idea of the 2 days? Well, the Torah says, Moses says, God says, do not add or subtract. This Torah is perfect. And yet here we've gone and we've added an extra day. Why have we done it? So that we maintain true to Torah. So we make sure we don't miss the holiday. Okay, well now we've got technology where we can turn lights off and on vicariously. We know when the Moed is, when that new moon is there, the exact second. We don't need to get a message from Israel. You just look at the internet, right there it is. Why do we need 2 days? Because the rabbis say that, since it's been so long in tradition, we just keep it. You decide for yourself. Reform, they do 1 day. Some conservative do 1 day. Orthodox, 2 days. Israel, 1 day. We all disagree. So anyway, I just want to get that out of the way. So this particular reading for Rosh Hashannah comes from the book of Genesis. And here we have Abraham and Sarah. And Sarah's just had Yitzhak. It's her son in her old age, right? It's like, of her old age, and she's laughing, and everybody's laughing with joy and pride. Wow, we got a son. I'm 89 years old, and here I am pregnant, and I've got my youth back, and I can even wean the kid, and I can suckle him, and it was just such a miracle. And the idea is that Abraham prayed for the Egyptian woman, for Abimelech's people, to not be barren. And when you pray for somebody, you kind of get it back yourself because you're doing something unselfish. And Isaac was born on Rosh Hashannah, so guess what? We read this on Rosh Hashannah. The other part of it is that Abraham, or Sarah, tells Abraham she wants Ishmael and Hagar, his concubine and his son from Hagar, out, gone, because in the Torah it says that Ishmael is playing with Isaac. Now, what does playing mean? Well, he was kind of roughhousing. Ishmael was kind of a brute, and he was very good with a bow, and and according to the Midrash, he's shooting arrows, and he's kind of missing Isaac, and he really wants to hit him because he's the firstborn, and he knows that Isaac's his favorite son, and there's a little bit of jealousy there. So Sarai goes to Abraham and says they've got to leave. This is your true son. He's going to carry on the spiritual part of what you've done, and he's obviously a pagan, and Hagar's a pagan. He's learning from his mother. They need to leave. They can't influence Isaac negatively. So Abraham gets a message from Hashem, and he says, okay, then off they go. Yet they also say that Ishmael later on repented, and he saw the error of his ways, and that's another reason why this is the Rosh Hashannah reading, because Ishmael repented, and it's kind of, if you can have a pagan repenting his evil ways, then for the rest of us it should be pretty easy. So that's the other reason that this is in the Rosh Hashannah. Okay. So why is this the Rosh Hashannah reading? Okay, lots of people have repented. Other people were born, they say the world was created on Rosh Hashannah. Why not make it Genesis? Why not make Rosh Hashannah and Simchat Torah the same day? I mean, it's the new year, right? I mean, doesn't it make sense that if it's the new year, well, let's just finish the Torah now, and for the new year, let's just have a big celebration. We'll blow the shofar, we'll roll the Torah, done. Okay? Why have a separate holiday almost 3 weeks later? 3 weeks, right? You got Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur is 10 days later, Sukkot is 5 days later, Sukkot is 2 weeks from Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot is 8 days, then you got Simchat Torah, yeah, I mean, you're almost 3 weeks in. Then another week later, you've got the new month for, what is it, Heshbon? Mar Heshbon. The point is, and this is kind of the way I'm seeing it as a rabbi, the point is that it stands out, all right? It doesn't get lost. Why is it that when a festival occurs on Shabbat, why do we leave out the Kabbalat Shabbat, those first Psalms that we do, right? 96 to 90, or 95 to 99, the ones, supposedly David went down into the catacombs, discovered some writings from Moses, and turned them into Psalms. And so Psalms 90 to 100 are from those writings from Moses. And that's why they talk about being in the desert, etc., etc. So we don't do that ostensibly because it's a festival. If you use those Psalms that highlight Shabbat, you're really kind of interfering with the joy of the festival. Now, of course, during a festival that falls on Shabbat, we do include some verbiage that acknowledge Shabbat. We're going to do that, right? So we're going to do, Bizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat Tov Hashem. We do Psalm 92, which is the Sabbath Psalm. We do 93, which is the one that follows it. Those are the Sabbath Psalms together. Usually we only do 92 as a Sabbath Psalm. But we start from there to acknowledge Shabbat, then we just go right into the Mari service. And the Ma'ariv service is a little different for Rosh Hashannah. It's a little different for Yom Kippur. There's some things that are added for the Shalosh Raglayim, the 3 pilgrimage festivals. Regel means foot, pilgrimage because we're going to the temple. What are they? Think about it for a second. Pop quiz. Okay, Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Those are the times when the Jews will go to the Torah, go to the temple. And by the way, on the 7th year, the sabbatical year, on Sukkot, for that pilgrimage festival, the king would read most of Deuteronomy to them. That way they kind of keep up with their studies, kind of a group lesson and such. Okay? So we don't want to mingle. We want to just focus on the Rosh Hashannah. We want to focus just on that holiday and what it means, the idea of a new beginning, a new spiritual beginning. Because let's face it, Isaac was born on that day, so the spiritual was now carried on L'dor Vador, generation to generation. Abraham, Isaac, and now Jacob, and then Joseph carries it on, etc. So that's the idea of the new year, of the new spirituality, of looking at ourselves and recommitting to observing Torah. So we talked a little bit about in the other 10-minute Torah Ditzavim the fact that as a people, we're as a people responsible for clinging to Torah, right? So here it is, really emphasized. This is a spirituality, Lador Vador, father to son, son to son, and now of course we've got the woman involved. So, Shana Tova. Wherever you are, whatever you're going to be doing for the new year, I wish you that you be inscribed in the book of life, the Sefer HaChaim, Shalom, and that you have a prosperous and fulfilling new year. Shana Tova.